It is March 4th, and more bad news as we expected with the trade war. Now that the tariffs have come in, uh, China, Mexico, and Canada are pursuing retaliatory tariffs, which again is really the main concern that we've been talking about for a month or so. So, yeah, we'll see how the market reacts. Still waiting until we get a lot lower to add to any investments or to start any swing trades. And if you guys want, we can also talk about the fundamental aspects of this a little later. A lot of these tariffs in retaliation were as expected, I'm sure. I'm sure that investors have already anticipated this, but regardless, still fairly bad news. So we'll see if the market ends up wanting to sell off or if investors have already priced in a lot of this. Our support is down here, high up here. So currently we're in a range. Noisy chair. Yep, market is currently looking to sell off. However, this is just not a trade that I'm particularly looking for just because of the size of the stop loss. I prefer to see a little bit of consolidation so that we don't have to trade in the first 2 minutes of market open. And then we could wait to see if we get a slow trend and break out to the downside, which we've gotten almost 50% of the days over the last 2 weeks. Looks like Home Depot is pulling back as well. I have not bought any Home Depot, but I am keeping my eyes on it for potential swing trades. All right, so now we know where the buyers are, and they are indeed at the bottom down here at support. Always good to know where buyers and sellers are so that we know when they give up and when we can enter on the breakout. To just buy immediately down at the low here would have been very risky because there's no confirmation from there. I don't know that I'll be swing trading Microsoft. I'm more so looking for a longer term investment, but yeah, we do have some criteria that we look for in swing trades, which I'll talk about a little later. And essentially it's the same as a lot of these strategies for day trading. I mean, they're not necessarily the same. I'll go over them. But yeah, we want to look for consolidation beneath support on Microsoft. Once it consolidates and we break out back up into the prior range, that's when I like to enter my position. But yeah, we can definitely go over that a little later. Can also talk about the fundamentals that are happening from tariffs. I know we talked about it about a month ago. Yeah, that Sunday when I was at that pineapple farm. But yeah, we'll go over that a bit more today as well. Yep, looks like investors have priced in and already expected these retaliatory tariffs. Meanwhile, Nvidia has already moved all the way back up to yesterday's close, which is made about a 3% move in the last 10 minutes. This is a lot of news for the market to digest. So we're going to get a lot of volatility that's fairly random. That's why we're getting so many buyers here on bad news, is simply because a lot of it's likely been priced in. Even a few weeks ago back here, investors were expecting that tariffs would not happen. They're always future looking. And now that tariffs have definitely happened like we thought they would, these investors have likely also been pricing in that if tariffs happen, that retaliations are going to happen. So a lot of it's priced in. But I do still expect to move lower over the coming couple weeks. Still likely. Lots of volatility. Not making for a good entry. This current candle is about $130 of movement. which is very large. Typically when we've been trading the M and Q, we've been using a $25 stop loss, which would just not go very well with the amount of volatility we're getting. So at the moment, we're waiting for patterns to form so we can find new levels of support and resistance that we can trade from. For example, if we paused here for a moment and had support and resistance, then we could look for a potential reversal to the downside. And same, if we got anything down here, we could look for potential breakouts to the downside. We also currently are not at any important price levels on the daily time frame, which is why we have to be extra cautious because we have no reference on the daily time frame. We're in the middle of this range on the way to gap down lower. So a lot of random price action here, as we can see. Now, plenty of sellers have stepped in, so lots of volatility. Is this fully priced in, or does the market want this to go? Yeah, let's go ahead and check on Tesla. Yeah, Tesla could definitely go either way from here, but I do see the trade idea to the upside. It is a little risky with this bad news, and just given that we're under this level of support, or we're now under creating a lot of resistance here on Tesla. So it's also a good area to reverse from, which is the problem, because on one hand it could be a breakout or a reversal, and once we get that indecision, it does make price action a little harder and more difficult to enter trades here. Typically, if it's very obvious that there's only one direction price can go, you get a lot better price movement. Looks like Tesla might turn red a little lower. If this turns into a red hammer to the downside, that could create a lot of momentum to the downside in Tesla. Hopefully the stop loss would be large enough. We haven't been able to see if price is going to consolidate down here yet. So hard to say how large of a stop loss we'd need at the moment. Looks like this candle still has another 2 minutes left on it. So definitely a little preemptive or dangerous for us to be entering immediately. If there were a breakout, it would be a lot better if we could get some consolidation. So we're going to have to wait for that, but we'll see what we get. If we get consolidation and a breakout, or a very slow breakout, then we could potentially enter this. If it breaks out immediately, I'm not going to take this one just because, it's been very volatile over the last 10 minutes, which means that our stop loss would most likely get hit if we were to take a trade and be the first one to enter the breakout. So let's definitely wait, find out here. Also put a price alert to the upside in case we do get a breakout later to the upside, because that would look good as well. So nice call out here. I do like the pattern here on Tesla. Has a lot more obvious support and resistance than the market. Yeah, I primarily use the daily chart to see most price levels, but as you can see, they're in confluence with the 5-minute. So the 5-minute chart, we had this support here in the pre-market and then a market open, and that's the low of the candle, so that's where we're putting it. But this one is essentially based on the 5-minute, and here we can see pre-market, here's the current high throughout the day, and it's also the close of this candle, or sorry, the open of this candle and the low of that. So just as a reference, you can also just zoom out to see these price levels, or we were talking about this on Friday, you can also use the 1 hour time frame, which also makes it look quite smooth. I'll show you over here. So you can also see them pretty easily on the 1 hour time frame. All right, looks like price is slowing down a little bit, and we might get this breakout here. Again, I don't want to be the first person to enter this breakout because we're seeing a lot of buyers down here. So I really prefer to wait till we get a bit more confirmation on the breakout. I'm gonna check in on the market. Yeah, market is still in a range, being very volatile, just hitting the highs and lows of this range consistently with every candle. So very indecisive. No money to be made yet on the market, that's for sure. Nvidia and SMCI are looking good to the upside at the moment. Tesla is still undecided. So just waiting to see what the market wants to do. I'm also interested in potentially buying Nvidia for a day trade here to the upside. But just given current volatility, our reward would be pretty far away on on Nvidia. I don't know why I keep mixing those up right now. So yeah, the risk to reward on Nvidia, not necessarily there. You're gonna have to wait for it to consolidate a little bit more, see if we can get some smaller candles. All right, market is now at the high of the range that we've already been in. That was just that level of resistance we saw early on at market open. Definitely no trades to take here yet. I also am not looking to take a breakout to the upside either. This is extremely volatile, so it's likely to continue to be volatile even on a breakout. As you know, with our breakout strategy, we're looking for areas where we can use a small stop loss. And here with all this volatility, we would not be able to use a small stop loss because unlike a normal breakout where it just takes off, this is likely to continue to be like this, which would hit a smaller stop loss. Not only that, but we also have resistance very shortly thereafter, and we are in a really large downtrend. So I'm not looking to buy breakouts here to the upside in the market. This is a very dangerous area. All right, new candle starting in 2 seconds on Tesla. We are getting a little bit of consolidation as this slowly moves to the downside. We're getting more red candles, lower highs, consistent red candles. So we're definitely seeing where price is going. Okay, I'm looking to take this trade. I'm starting pretty small here. This is, again, a more aggressive trade because we are the first person to enter on the breakout, which is definitely a more dangerous move. So do stay safe here. Don't go in with a full position. Also, breakouts have been on the more difficult side lately because the market's been so choppy. Okay, market is still moving to the downside and getting to the low of the day. So if the market can break out from here, there might be a trade to take on the NASDAQ to the downside as well. But we've not gotten a breakout yet, so definitely wait for that. Definitely a more dangerous trade, being the first ones in a breakout during this volatile market session, but I do stand by this. Hopefully we can get a move lower in the market from here because I definitely don't want to take any trades in the NASDAQ to the upside at the moment. Let's move over to the NASDAQ for any potential trades as well. So here's support. I imagine that once we get a potential breakout, stop loss would be maybe could be a little smaller here, like the stop loss would be about $45 per contract, which is significantly smaller now, which is good. So set the stop loss to about 45. That's what I imagine we'll get. Yeah, that's about a $90 risk per contract, just so everyone knows. So if anyone's trading, do know that that is still a fair amount of risk, even for one contract. So if you were to do 10 of those, that's almost $1,000. All right, our Tesla trade is doing quite well at the moment. Nasdaq's still looking to sell off a little, but hasn't yet. Oof, without that breakout, that does make our Tesla trade more vulnerable. That was just me slightly lowering the stop loss on Tesla. Now, this is the problem with entering a trade early or being the first one without that confluence in the market, is we do still have to wait for the breakout in the market to confirm our Tesla trade. But there were a lot of sellers in Tesla, so we went off of that imbalance we were seeing in Tesla to go short, but it is still pretty risky here because the market has not moved lower yet, has not picked a direction. I am considering moving the stop loss a little lower, almost to a break even in Tesla. Yeah, hard to read the market right now that we're getting stuck in this range and that price is dying off. And Tesla is having a lot more buyers underneath support than I would like. Typically, when you get a breakout, you should see a lot of sellers continuing to step in. And the fact that we've gotten a strong breakout and all these buyers are stepping in, not very fun. A lot of that is probably because we have not gotten a breakout to the downside in the market yet. If we start to break out to the downside in the market, we'll look to add to our Tesla trade. But at the moment, looks like the market, really undecided. This is exactly why we wait for consolidation, so we can see where is the support and where is the resistance. That way we actually have a reference for when we enter our trade and where we put our stop loss. Otherwise, everything else here in the first 10 or 15 minutes of market open, any trades there would be trading pretty randomly or shooting in the dark, other than maybe a potential breakout lower. All right, Tesla is now almost at 2R. Let's actually check on the daily chart here on Tesla. This is why I like to trade stocks sometimes. We get more opportunity, larger imbalances, and we can find better setups. Yeah, market still has not broken out, but that's the thing. We have an imbalance in Tesla, so it's definitely jumping the gun, if you will. All right, market is starting to break out. You would do the same thing that I did with Tesla, slightly larger stop loss than usual, small position or medium-sized position. That's the trade ideas to the downside, as we've talked about for the last 30 minutes or 20 minutes. There's the breakout. Considering taking off a small amount here just because we move quickly, and I expect that we might get a pullback because the market is now pulling back a little bit. So just based on my current risk tolerance, that's what we're looking for, but Tesla still has a lot more room to run. I've removed part of my position. That way I can feel more comfortable with any potential pullbacks. And then if we do get a pullback and a little bit of consolidation, we can always look to add more to the downside. But right now, with this very fast move and with the market rebounding, I'm taking off a third. Remember, the market has been very volatile and oversold. So although I really like this setup to the downside, we have no resistance. It's looking really good. We also have bad news. I do want to be a little bit cautious, especially, sorry about that, especially if the market reclaims that breakout level. If the market moves above the breakout level, that would cue a potential reversal to the upside. So then we would look to close our Tesla position. Definitely don't want to be in a trade to the downside if the market has a ton of buyers here and reclaims that support. Sorry, I can't see the chat when I have both screens as monitors, as charts, because right now I'm keeping a watch on the market and on Tesla at the same time. So If anyone is asking any questions, I'll check on those in a moment. Throughout the day, Tesla could definitely make it to 10R. Just so everyone knows, this is one of those trades that could definitely move to 10R. I would give it maybe by the end of today, I would give it maybe like a 30 to 40% chance that we can make it to 10R. But of course, I don't like to wait all day, and I don't like to hold through all that choppiness. So we're definitely not going to hold on to this all day. But that does increase the likelihood that it might happen here while we're in this trade as well. But it really depends on what the market wants to do, because right now we're still getting some buyers here. Oops. I'm going to take off a little bit more if we keep moving higher, just because there are so many buyers stepping in on the current candle in the overall market. I don't want to see a new high on our current candle in Tesla. Yeah, that would be an issue. This candle's about to close. If it closes, or if it starts moving higher and closes green, that's definitely not what I'm looking for. Not the end of the world, but I am going to remove a little bit of our position if we keep getting buyers here. All right, we're pulling off some of the position again. There's been a lot of buyers in strength here, which is a shame. We're going to hold from here. But yeah, shocking how many buyers are still in this, in the NASDAQ at these levels. But I understand it. Some of this news has already been priced in, and we are pretty extended to the downside. Okay, we could switch this to a trailing stop loss. I definitely want to hold out for a lot bigger profit on this one. Just do a manual stop for now. Yeah, this is still looking good to the downside at the moment. We could even enter a potential trade here. Very nice. We got a retest here, and sellers have taken control again. So this is giving us more confirmation to the downside. We didn't make a high. Support for our trade held up, aka like resistance held up. And we're continuing to have red candles to the downside. So this is still looking quite good to the downside. We could even enter a trade here, just as you would go to add to a trade. But I do worry about the size of the stop loss I'd have to use from here. Let's see, 200, be about 55. It's a little larger than I'd like. Very nice. Choppy, very choppy this morning. Wow, Oracle is down a lot. Just checking on some of my price alerts. Very, very choppy today. We've had some nice breakouts, but on the other hand, we're not getting much follow through. Nice. Almost getting a lower low here. More red candles. It's looking good. Looking good. Tesla's still being a little bit stubborn. Just adjusting my price alerts on the stocks that I like. Oh, nice. Amazon is moving a lot lower. I thought it was a little odd that it was all the way at those highs, because typically Amazon struggles a lot. Can't believe they finally stopped producing the Nissan GTR and the Audi R8. Probably not the best time to talk about that. All right, it looks like the rest of my position in Tesla might be closed out here on a win. A lot of buyers stepping in. We might have to look for potential reversals to the upside. We could get that in the market, so we'll probably just trade the market if that does happen. Yeah, this is more volatility than I'd like to hold through. Not a big fan of having to deal with all this pushback. So if you haven't reduced your position size, now would be the time to do it. I would have a stop loss at break even, just because I'm not liking how we're not getting any follow through anymore. We really should have made a new low and moved lower here. but we have not, so a little concerning. But we've known this from market open. It's been very choppy. Oof. Yeah, a lot of buyers would be looking to close here. Looks like my final stop loss is going to be hit in Tesla about 1.5 hours into the trade. Very choppy. Luckily, break even is still intact here. Gee whiz. Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing any lower lows or lower highs really. Just so you know, like when you get a very slight lower low, it's basically still in consolidation. We really need to see like an actual new low. Tesla was still consolidating. It was drawing outside the lines a little bit. That's why we're still in this trade in Tesla. But yeah, it definitely made a little bit of a new high there. I don't know why this is being so finicky. We could add a little bit here. Not getting the full breakout yet though. Maybe a little less. Change the stop loss. 50. We have not broken out to the downside yet, just so everyone knows. I was preemptively adding a little bit to this position, but we are still in consolidation. That's why I only added a little bit. So do watch out. But it is good for our habits to add to our conviction and to find opportunities to add to trades when we're given them. Market is now breaking out to the downside. Very volatile today. Tesla being extremely stubborn. Yeah, trade's still holding up well in the M&Q. Nice. Oh, it's beautiful. Tesla's almost at 5R, which is also fantastic. For anyone who did not enter these trades, don't worry about it. There's always a million more trades. We do this every day. I miss trades all the time. It's not a big deal. If it wasn't meeting your standards, if you had good reason to get out early or anything like that, that happens. Don't worry about it. I don't want you guys experiencing any FOMO unnecessarily. Remember, there's at least 3 trades every single day. So it's really not a problem. Taking off a little bit more here on Tesla. I mean, I know we added to it, so I shouldn't say more, but I'm taking off a little bit of Tesla here now that we're at 5R. This is just a reminder that sometimes the market meets our strategy and we get trades. Sometimes it doesn't, and we have to miss trades. That's part of the pain of being a trader, where like I know we missed a couple trades last week because they didn't quite meet our standards, but it's all part of it. I do have confidence that we're going to move lower throughout the day. However, do expect that we might get a little bit of chop. So it is what it is. Could either take off a little bit here if you don't want to deal with the choppiness too much. Or if you're really confident in this, you could hold on with your full position, but not very pleasant to let it run back another 2 hours against you with a full position. Right now we're making just lower lows, so there's no reason to even reduce any. But if we do start to turn green here, then maybe consider reducing about 1/3 of the position. That's just what I would do personally based on my risk tolerance of how choppy the market's been recently. But that's just my personal trade idea. Yeah, I would take off about 1/3 here if you haven't already. You just close your stop loss, then buy back about 1/3 of your shares, and then prepare to do whatever your next trade plan is, which would be either sell off or close off the rest of it like I'm doing right now in Tesla. Or if you're confident in this and you're okay holding on for more, then you could buy back about a third here, and then continue holding with a larger stop loss. It's really up to you and your personal trade idea and your confidence level. Because remember, there is a bit of subjectivity to trading. There is no perfectly right or wrong way to do it. So I want you guys to always remember that. No need to ever feel anxious or anything like that, just because somebody might have a slightly different trade plan or because you don't know exactly what to do and when. Because remember, there's no perfect way in every scenario. Every minute of the day is a new moment that has never happened with new traders, new players in the market, different sized accounts. Yeah, the breakout was a little mushy. I mean, at first, when we got the breakout to the downside in the NASDAQ, we got a lot of sellers immediately. And then we continued to get quite a lot of sellers, but then immediately after, we then got buyers for a while. But that's why we have this level of support for our trade to the downside, aka resistance, which gives us a little bit of confidence. That's why we trade these breakouts. You can use a smaller stop loss. You know when to get in your trade, and you know when to exit your trade. Good old Tesla. See if we can find some other trades from here. Oh man. By the way, I closed my NVIDIA trade during earnings a while ago. So when they had earnings and we started to drop, I closed my position around like that 130 level. So for the last week or so, I've been waiting to buy back NVIDIA, which could either happen down here at $100 or if we start to make a breakout above 115. All right, definitely close at least half your position here if you haven't already. As I said, I probably would have closed about a third on that first green candle, and now I'd be looking to close the full position just because personally, I don't want to hold on to this as it goes back up against us. But that's just my preference. I tend to like to use a smaller stop loss than most people. But as you know, despite using a very small stop loss, we rarely get stopped out preemptively. The only times we've been stopped out preemptively have mostly been from lowering our stop loss too quickly. But we're already here. This already made it to 4R. By no means would lowering your stop loss here be too quick or too soon. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll let you guys know when I go to invest more money. Right now I'm about like 35% of my portfolio in. I'm waiting for the market to move back to about this like $19,800 level, which is about, I think, $480 on the QQQ. So yeah, we're waiting for that. And then I want to see how price reacts once we get down there. It's easier and more okay to buy a position for your investment without that much confirmation, just because that's just how it is. You're buying on a larger time frame. You're buying based on fundamentals. However, for us to find a swing trade in NVIDIA is a little less likely. We would have to wait for proper consolidation and proper pattern, and then we go to buy. So the investment is very likely to happen. We'll definitely be investing in NVIDIA. Swing trade a little less likely, but hopefully we get that. I would love to get some swing opportunities. I think now might be a good time to go over some of the fundamentals of what's going on with tariffs, if you guys are interested. Oh, didn't realize that Tesla moved down about 8%, maybe even almost, 8.5%. That's awesome. The market is so irrational. How Tesla got all the way up here, that was just silly. That whole thing was really, really silly. I'm telling you guys, I swear that a lot of large investors and just like the people who run hedge funds, I think a lot of them are more irrational and ridiculous than even like they're very normal people, you know, they're not necessarily all level-headed. That's why there's so much silliness in the market. These investors can be as stubborn and emotional as anyone else, except for Warren Buffett. See if there's any other trades. Oh, hello. Not too much volume in MicroStrategy. I will leave this on the market. This reversal is somewhat to be expected, as we've seen a lot of volatility all morning. I mean, we have been trending to the downside, but still, we really had to fight it the entire way. Buyers all morning long, then again on the breakout. So not surprised that we're seeing more buyers here. All right, I'm probably going to hop off here soon. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see. Yeah, good question. So very sadly, over the last 2 months, the market has been extremely choppy and volatile. I mean, not always. We have gotten some good moves too. But personally, I feel as though the market has been a little more undecided and has had a little bit less follow through at times. I mean, I don't want to be biased because the market has had some good opportunity. But anyway, because of that, I have been looking to close out on positions a little sooner than usual because I'd say just a little more choppy than usual. The times where you really want to be doubling down and holding on to your trades is when the market is moving consistently in one direction, like when you're in a really big bull market where the overall narrative for the next 6 months is all to the upside. But for the last few months, it's been really directionally challenged, if you will. As you can see, we've had a ton of volatility in the market since, really July, but especially in the last couple months here. So anyway, because of that, I have been pulling off a little bit sooner. As far as telling the difference between a retracement versus like a simple pullback versus a full reversal, well, there is no perfect way to tell. Let me see if I can draw this out. And we'll just say a pullback. Okay, so with a pullback, with either of these, you still have to wait for consolidation. That's the thing. Like no matter what, when something starts to pull back like this, we still don't necessarily know where support and resistance is unless it's already formed. So like here, we can see that this previous support should now be resistance, right? Like this should be helping our trade to the downside. So once that starts getting broken, that is a red flag. So you can use previous consolidation to draw out these support and resistance levels, and then that will help you realize or recognize whether you're getting a pullback or a reversal. So with a pullback, it might look kind of like this. You come into a little bit of a range, you break out. A pullback might just come back up here to this level, do this in purple. It might just come back like this and then continue to the downside. Whereas a reversal would make a higher high. Another thing that you get in a pullback is it's okay if you get, just a little bit of choppiness. So I'll also draw that out. It's okay to have a little bit of chop where you're consolidating. Whereas reversals, we'll do this in red. Reversals, let's do it like this. Reversals will make a higher high past previous support, and they'll also start to slowly have more and more buyers where price slowly moves back to the upside. So for example here, we see multiple green candles. So this one closed green. The second one made a higher high and closed green. We started seeing buyers. So really, we also started seeing an imbalance here. Remember, there's no way to know perfectly or for sure. However, these are just some of the telltale signs. So you have an imbalance, you have broken support, aka yet again resistance, but it's support for our trade idea. So I'm sure you guys have gathered that by now. So that's a lot of what we're seeing in reversals. Whereas here we can maybe get a little bit of choppiness like this, like that's okay. A little tiny pullback underneath support, that's also okay. So really just for your own risk tolerance. I like to hop out, but sometimes you do get these traits of a reversal and then it still continues to the downside. It is possible that this can then still continue lower, or this can then continue lower. But either way, I don't recommend giving back 3R on a trade, because everything is risk to reward, right? So like the last thing I'll say on this is, let's say that here's our entry and our profit target is down here. Say this is 5R profit target. And let's say that price has been moving down this way. All right, so at this point in time, if you think that we're only going to make it down to here, that this is probably where buyers would step in and where we get a bit of resistance for our trade, then we really only have about another, it's maybe about 2R or maybe 2.5R, whatever you want to say, left to make, right? So it's not really worth holding on for, let's say, like another 3R as a loss. It's not really worth losing 3R to make 2R. That's why I trail my stops. Yeah, it just is what it is. By the way, with swing trading, you can hold on to your trades for longer. There is an infinite amount of potential to the upside. And swing trading is better to hold on to and to add to more so than day trading. You saw that sometimes we do get opportunities to add to our position, like here. I added here because we got consolidation and then another breakout, and I like that, so I went to add on Tesla, that is. But yeah, hope that clears things up a bit. Let's see what else. All right, so let me know if you guys want me to go over why the market has pulled back fundamentally at all. I briefly covered it in the Discord announcement yesterday, but let me know if you want to know anything about fundamentals. Otherwise, I will probably hop off here soon. See you, buddy. See you, Zora. Yeah, that second candle was pretty big. There's a lot of buyers in that one, which really started to signify a potential reversal. But now we're back here to resistance, so see if the market really truly wants to reverse to the upside from here. Although I'm not too confident that we'll get very far, because we do have more resistance here at 20,400. If we could use a small enough stop loss, then maybe, but probably not. No, I closed my Tesla trade a while ago. So when we entered, when I added to my position at 3R, I then closed most of it around 5R of that added position. And then I closed the rest of my Tesla position somewhere around 3.5R in here. I'm actually going to need to draw this back out. It was definitely smaller than that. But anyway, the news source that I check is, I personally will just check the CNBC app on my phone. It's not really the greatest. You could probably find better. The other two apps that I talk about for checking like earnings reports or economic news, there's Econo Daily and Market Watch. I think both of those are in the course under the workspace playbook. If you check that one out, I think I have them tagged in the workspace playbook in the first section of the course. All right, let's see. The Great British Pound USD trade today. All right, so after the fake out went to 3R, and this Forex always looks so shitty on Charles Schwab. Let me pull it up on my phone. What price did you enter your trade in, and what direction were you going for? Were you buying or shorting? We always got tomorrow. That's all right. Well, just so you know, as always, there's no perfect way to trail your stop loss. It's really up to you and your trade plan. If you really truly think that we're going to move significantly lower, then it's fine to hold on to your trade. And that just takes a bit of experience of knowing, what your trade plan is, how confident you are, and how much room you want to give it to run, and what are current market conditions. So the trailing stop loss, all that stuff is a little subjective, and it's going to come with experience. And just remember that, sometimes when you hold onto your trade for longer, it might work out really, really well. And sometimes when you hold onto your trade for longer, you might give back some money. So ultimately, it's always a balance. So yeah, maybe it didn't work out this time, but maybe the next time when you hold on to your trade a little longer, it works out very well. That's just how trading works. Trading can be a little unpredictable and random at times, and it's not our job to be perfect. It's not our job to know every single movement of the market. That's not possible. So give yourself a little bit of grace. Do remember that even on that trade from last week where I had, I set my stop loss, I pulled it down to break even, and some of you didn't. I got stopped out by just a few pennies, and some of you didn't. And then those of you who didn't get stopped out made whatever it was, like 4R on MicroStrategy to the upside. So just the way it goes. Could NQ still go lower? Or let's see. Okay, it was a buy. Yeah, you can send me the photo in Discord, and then I'll go ahead and check that out. You can send it to me directly as a direct message if you like, and then we'll talk there. Could NQ go lower? Yeah, let's see what we got going on with the market here. Yeah, I'm pretty torn between where the market wants to go over the next hour, because we could keep moving to the upside or we could reverse from here. It's getting really messy. The reason why is because, let's draw this out a little bit. We now have a lot of support. We have buyers here. We have potential buyers here. We have potential buyers in this general trend line area. Then we have sellers up here. We have sellers here. So we're really getting stuck in a lot of the thick of it, right? Like, it becomes very difficult to predict the direction when we're losing momentum, so low momentum, and when there are tons of price levels, which also we have we have very low momentum because we have lots of price levels. So it's really getting messy in here. It's like a little jail cell. And then we got a little guy in here with a frowny face. Here you go. I did not sleep enough last night. Anyway, you got it. All right, well, guess I'll hop off for today, unless you guys want to hear a long, boring speech about fundamentals. Otherwise, I think we're pretty good. Appreciate you guys. I know I talk the very monotonous voice. I get that a lot. But typically, I'm really not as serious as you might think. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the Discord, and I'll see you tomorrow. See you guys.